This is an Evergreen Media Network studio production.
It's nothing but double trouble, and it's Kevin and John back together after I don't know how many decades. So this is the double trouble. This is the double trouble. We'll come up with a new name. You know, enough of this. I can't be it's not me. I'm not the one. I'm not the one anymore. I got another guy over here. And then we got that other dude that we stick in the corner all the time. The Vernster. And of course, my girl Cindy. Since 2013, she's been keeping us alive.
Isn't that amazing?
2013.
And we're still talking.
And we're still friends.
We're still friends.
I can't believe it, you know? And John, I've been
Must be alcohol involved.
Yeah.
No.
I've been sending John a check since the 80s, so he stays my friend. You know, so it's good. It's good. Hey, what a night last night, huh?
Yeah.
The Trumpster, he did good. He did.
Yeah, man.
You know what I love about it, man? I waited up, and you know what I waited for? I knew, there it is. I knew he was going to kick almighty butt. I knew it. I knew he was coming and swinging. But he was so, when I said, I'm waiting for the speech. I got to hear the speech. I waited up, and he came on. That dude was so calm, cool, and collective. He was thanking everybody. He was thanking Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis and the Vivek dude. And I don't even know who the 1%. Who was the 1% of Vern? What was that guy?
Asa Hutchins.
What the hell was he even doing there?
Yeah.
Why would he even show that guy? You know? But I got to tell you, Nikki Haley and Ronnie, baby, it's time. You got to go away. Enough is enough. We don't need you no more. We don't need you. You know? Yeah. I think DeSantis blew it. I really do.
The writing's on the wall.
That boy was told, listen, you got it. You're the next guy in line. Just wait. And those were the exact words. Just wait. We got you lined up. You're it. You're like the Kennedy-looking dude. You're going to do great. Hang on for another 4 years. No, he jumps in. I think he messed up his career by doing this, you know? And like what Vern was saying, who was his campaign people?
His campaign, it was probably the worst one campaign I've ever seen. Terrible.
You
campaign.
know, it was terrible. I mean, Nikki, what's her name? Haley. She came out this shit.
Haley.
She came out, you know. But listen, what I'm waiting to find out is, because he did say this about a month ago, he goes, I already have my VP picked. I'm dying to know who that person is.
Trump did? That's what I was asking last time. Who is it?
It was a month ago. I heard him say it. I'm like, well, give us a hint. He kept his mouth shut. So I'm wondering, who could it possibly be? I mean, who would you think?
Lake.
I would love Carrie Lake.
He specifically said last night in his speech, I want to thank Carrie Lake.
Yeah, but he also said she's going to be the next senator or something like that.
Yeah, well.
I don't want her to be a senator. Who would you, John, who would you want?
Look, I don't have a problem with Carrie Lake. I think she's she's a whip. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And even if she does get into the Senate, she can if she gets the nod, she can leave it.
Yep. Yeah.
She can leave that spot.
Who would you want? Is that who you'd want?
You know.
Who would you think?
Well, here's the problem. After Trump is done, you're saying Ronnie's going to try and step up. I'm sure whoever Trump's second is going to want to try and get the seat too.
Absolutely. So, and that's the way it should be, you know, because it's not about this 4 years. It's about a good 16 years is what this is about.
Right.
You know, it's like, listen, the 4 years is building the foundation. That's all it is trying to fix the mess that this retard did over the past couple of years.
We're going to get letters about that
word. Is that a bad word? Is that an offensive word?
I wouldn't call anybody
intellectually challenged.
Right.
Challenged?
Intellectually challenged.
I don't care. I like retard. This guy, what he did is, I think we just gotta, you know, and now we gotta clean this up. So here's Trump. He's gonna kick butt. Day one's gonna be beautiful. Remember how Biden came in? He was so proud with his black magic marker and all the idiots. I was gonna call them retards, but I'm calling those idiots. that stood behind him that day. Look at Cindy's like, oh my God.
We're
Well,
off the air.
we'll never be back on the air
No,
again.
us and Howard Stern, we're done.
But you remember them? They're all standing there, all proud and smiling, like, "Oh, look, we got a new puppet. This is so beautiful." And he's standing there with his magic mark, and he kept looking back at people like, "What do I sign? My name, you know." And just folder after folder after folder after folder. Hey, it's going to happen again when the Trump gets in there. He's going to be lining up. Those folders are going to come across his desk, and those that nice long signature that he has.
Executive orders. Yep.
I can't wait to see the first one. Yeah, good.
Did you happen to catch the video that Trump released on his Truth Social account?
No, what was
and
it?
It's literally a parody, and it's on his account, it's his page. You know, he owns Truth Social, right? So he put this video out there, and it's a whole montage of the White House being a senior living center, and then they get Biden on the microphone, and all he says is that how he eats a lot, and he eats a lot of Italian food, and his do-nothing wife next to him. Oh, and ice cream. He eats ice cream too. But it looks like a Leisure Village video. It's not, but it's actually the White House and Biden. It's hysterical. It's hysterical.
I absolutely love it. But go ahead,
and he had the nuts to do it himself.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what about Kristi Noem? What happened to her out of South Dakota as a running mate?
I like her.
I do too. I was in South Dakota during COVID 2020. Phenomenal bang-up job she did in that state.
Yeah, and
she did.
I love her commercials. You see her commercials all the time?
No, but she was excellent.
Oh, man. She's trying to get workers into... Where's she from again?
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Yeah.
She's trying to get workers into South Dakota. So there'll be a commercial on where she's a welder. Right? And she's welding. I mean, the girl's actually welding, and she pulls the hat off, and she's like, "Listen, come over here. We got great pay."
Yeah.
Or a plumber. She's doing, I mean, I got to give the girl credit. She's a rock star, man.
Yeah,
so,
I like her.
Yeah.
I like her. I do.
I think, go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
No, I didn't know she was on the radar as far as vice
Yeah,
VP.
she was.
Yeah,
she was.
And then her name just stopped, you know?
That's why I'm wondering if anybody heard anything.
Maybe
who he's picking.
maybe it is her. Maybe that's why it stopped.
I don't know.
You know, because her name was up there for a little bit.
Well, it was like I was saying. A lot of people are speculating. You know, Nikki Haley, because she is being, she's allegedly the moderate. But one of her campaign spokesmen were on the other night on CNN. And he said, well, we're going to be going to this village, and we're going to be having this great fundraiser the day after Iowa. And a lot of Democrats are going to be donating. They're going to be there. That's scary.
Yeah.
Why would we want Democrats supporting Nikki Haley? She's going to be beholden. She's a dark horse. We're going to be careful she doesn't try to get into the vice presidency.
Well,
yeah, I heard that.
But after the way she was trashing him last night, she was trashing him. I mean, I can't see that happening.
Well, you don't know whatever they're staging. I mean, that's the scary thing. You know, what's going on?
You know,
she was on record. She was on record today saying that she's not going to participate in any more debates unless Trump shows up.
Yeah, good luck.
Because he hasn't participated. He doesn't have to play.
You know,
he goes, I don't have to debate you. No.
What did he have? 53, 51%?
Something like that.
Yeah, 51%.
Nobody's hit those numbers. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And if some of these fools wouldn't have been there, can you imagine what the numbers would have been?
He won, I believe, it was 99 counties, which is all of them in Iowa.
Right.
Every single county.
Right. Yeah, it was neat to watch. I tell you what was neat is I was flicking back and forth between Fox and CNN, you know, and I got to tell you.
Interesting take.
CNN, the message has changed a little bit. You know, they're not as rough on Trump as they were. And I'm wondering what's going on over there, because it's like they got to understand, like, you know, hey, this guy's probably going to be in the White House. And what I'm sitting there today, I'm driving here, and I'm like, who on earth? You know, because you look at some of these polls that come out, and you'll see Trump at 51% and Biden at 50% or 46%. I sit there and go, who the hell are these 46 or 51%? who was actually voting for this guy for whatever?
It's the funeral. It's the graveyard people.
Yeah.
You see, there's a.
Yeah.
Did you see them in the mail truck in the graveyard?
The horizontal voters.
Picking up the ballots. You know, the postal companies, the postal office is going to the graveyard trying to get names now.
You know,
So bad.
Tell no tales.
they used a previous census when they did this steal.
For what? 1969? Or?
I don't know, but there were entire buildings, apartment buildings, that voted for Biden that don't exist.
Yeah.
They're parking lots.
That's why we have to let these millions of illegals into the country. But between them and the dead people, he's a shoo-in. He's going to win. You know, all them graveyards out there. No wonder I see the postal trucks running through them all the time.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Interesting that you just mentioned that, Kev, as far as immigration is concerned. It's a big problem, especially in this cesspool blue state that I'm in.
Yeah.
And there's this whole replacement theory that they're talking about. And one of the reasons they got the floodgate open and they're going to give these people the ability to vote because they're losing. There are a lot of people evacuating this state. So
Right.
when you start losing population, you start losing representation.
Yeah.
Right.
So now they're gonna backfill with these illegals. They're gonna push to give them the right to vote, and they can keep their representatives.
Right.
You know, so it's a big. I don't want to say conspiracy, but they call this is like the big plan, that this is what they're doing. This is why the floodgates are open. But
So
my hat's off
The message
to Governor
we got,
Abbott in Texas
yeah. The message we got to push then
putting the
is
hammer down.
we got to start pushing this message. If you vote for Biden, you immediately get deported. That's all. That's what we're going to push out there right now.
That's
All
one of
right?
the chief Trump
So we
strategists said
stop
that.
them. We stop them right at the door. I can't vote for Biden. They're going to kick me out. And then Trump gets in, and guess what? You can see you later. We'll bounce him anyway. You heard what he said.
Check which box you want: plane, boat, or raft.
Listen, no, check which spots. You want to stay? You want to go? Which one you want? That's all. So you go for Crazy Joe? You go.
They're crazy enough. But the thing is even if we don't give them the right to vote in the federal election, they've already done it. And so, like in New York, you can vote. Illegals can vote. They're counted on the census, which goes toward the congressional district. So there are, like, I believe they mentioned like 15 or so congressmen that really they shouldn't even be there, but it was because of the census, the way it's district.
Hey, we got a friend up there, and he was running for Congress. You think we can get him going again, Iggy?
In New York?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Why not?
Because
Iggy owns a very successful cigar lounge in the Bronx.
Yeah, I know.
So he's not going anywhere. He doesn't even go home to his wife.
You know what? Listen, I'm gonna move back, and what's gonna happen is I'm gonna run. All right,
mayor?
John. I'm gonna.
They need a
I would
mayor
love
up
to be.
there.
Do you think I can make mayor, John?
Yeah.
You be my campaign manager.
Yeah.
Would they elect me? I got no shot.
Why not? We could try.
Let's go for it.
We'll have
Why
a bunch
not?
of laughs, that's for sure.
Hey, listen. We got to get on the ballot. You know what I'm saying? Let's push this
So-
issue. You know, if you got look at that clown
Which
right there.
He's actually was just calling me. You mentioned him, Iggy, and he's
Hey,
calling
no
me.
way.
Maybe he's on this. Listen to their show.
I swear, I don't even know how that happened.
Listen, we got to get him going again. But the only thing is, we got to
About
swing
the
him.
show, I didn't tell him about it.
You know, we got to get him going. He's a Democrat, isn't he?
No, he's a Democrat because he was trying to get a seat. He's actually a Republican.
See, no, that's a good idea. You go in as a Dem and you switch, boom, right away. I think it's a great
He was
idea.
He was in city politics for a while because he was a community affairs officer for one of the agencies here. So he was rubbing elbows with all the
He was a top
higher
dog.
ups.
He was a top dog. Yeah.
Everybody knew who he was, but he's. We
Listen.
could all have his life. 45 and retired.
He's a bum. He's a bum.
Yeah.
Nothing but a bum. I think John, you and I should be the ticket, you know, because listen, who's better than us? Nobody. So I think we should do this. I really do.
We think so.
We think so.
Right, right.
Listen, I know that you and I. Well, who's got Asa Hutchinson? Is that his name?
Yeah,
What do you get? 1%?
less than 1%.
John and I could hit 19, 20% easily.
Yeah, you could. Definitely.
Easily, just
yeah.
because. Even
Easy.
if we call it with a goof. If we just
Easy.
do it as a goof. You know? Just to
Easy.
say we did it.
And if
You
we
know?
bring snacks, we can push it to 25.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. We fit everybody's lunch. Just show up. Press. That's it. Push our button, or you go. You know, we just gotta make lies, and we like everybody else, and we can do this.
That's
I'm
what the
telling-
Kennedys did, didn't they? They did all the teas and all the lunches and all that stuff.
Listen, we'll show up with like 8-foot heroes.
Yeah, oh
You know,
yeah,
and-
especially New York pizza.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know, all them illegals, they'll show up. They'll like us. We'll get an interpreter that speaks Spanish.
A targeted audience. What does anybody think about New Hampshire? Now we're on to New Hampshire.
Oh,
what do we
boy.
think about that? That's going to be rough, I think,
So
isn't
listen, she's supposed to do good there. She's supposed to.
it? Who, Nikki Haley?
Yeah, and Ronnie's a little worried, all right? My prediction is she's not going to do as good as she thinks she is, and she's going to be out after New Hampshire.
Oh.
There's no reason. That's my prediction.
Okay.
She won't do as good as she's supposed to. I think Ronnie and her will stay around the same, and she's out. I think this is it. I think after this, they both need to kick bricks. They don't need to be there no more.
One thing I got to tell you though, there's a lot of chatter that's unsubstantiated. Like before Iowa happened, they were talking about how cold it was there.
Right.
Okay, and that's gonna put a dent on the showing, or how many people are gonna show up.
Yeah.
And they were like, they're Iowans. They live in the cold.
Right.
Yeah.
Used to it. You're not gonna stop them from doing anything. But
You know what?
they try and discourage you with the noise, the chatter, and think that it's gonna be bad, and it wasn't.
But no.
You know, when I lived in New Hampshire, which was in 2000 and 2007, when the tiny town I lived in, I volunteered at the voting thing, whatever. And I'm here to tell you, as a person, on the street, 99% of the people showed up. I don't care if they were 95, 100 years old. They
Right.
got a ride. They voted. They were well educated about what they were voting for. It wasn't somebody put a pencil in their finger and pointed toward a box that they were going to fill in. It was legitimate, and they totally paid attention. So kudos to them, because they show up. It doesn't matter if it's 100 below.
And that's the thing, too. The people that show up to vote are showing up to vote.
Right.
This is a premeditated thing. They're not
Right.
just saying, well, maybe I'll show up today and I'll just press a button.
No, those people didn't.
No,
They didn't.
they know who they want to vote for,
Right.
and they go for it. Mm-hmm. So they can say
The
whatever they
turnout
wanna
was
say,
encouraging for sure.
Yes.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. He was. I got to tell you, he was a class act during that speech last night.
Very well.
That's true.
If you guys get a chance to look at it, Trump was a class act. And I even said, man, whatever happy pill they gave him before he came out, give him 2 every time he speaks. if he would just act that way all the time, he'll never be in trouble. But then, Cindy, what were we talking about?
I know,
today?
but you know what he did? It was in his Trumpdom.
Yep.
He has said, listen, get out and vote, and even if you die an hour later, your vote did count. I was like, that's where you're blowing it. bud. That's
he could
where
have
you're
stopped to
blowing
get out
it.
and vote, but no, he's got to add something
Yeah,
to
I
it.
was like, no, I had to laugh. I laughed, but
They put a little something in his Diet Coke, I think.
something. He looks good. I think he looks good.
I got to tell you, for a
He
guy
does.
that is campaigning all
Yes.
around the United States and then flying back for court
From
the
prison
next day,
sentences.
I'm like, this guy's either going to be the president or he's going to be in prison. One of the two things that happen, but he's a rock star, man.
Totally.
He's got a rally tonight, so
Does
we'll
he?
see. Yeah.
And where's New
I
Hampshire?
believe it's New Hampshire.
Yeah, New
rally.
Hampshire they were going to. Yeah.
And DeSantis is in South Carolina, which is Nikki Haley's home state.
Yeah,
So he's trying to give it a,
that would be nice.
zip who.
I don't think I think the thing with him is that I expected more. I expected more fight out of him. I expected more mouth out of him, and he was trying to be way too presidential right away. I'm like, yo, bro, just give it to them. Just give him the straight up truth, and he didn't do that for me. And I like Ronnie.
I tell you,
Yeah.
I tell you one thing that impressed me, and I've been saying it since we started this thing. Vivek is a class act.
Yeah,
He bowed out right away. and he called Trump before he even made the announcement and said, I'm bowing out and I'm behind you 100%. Yeah. And he told his people, rally behind me and rally behind him. And that to me, that speaks volumes right there.
Yeah. And just like Cindy was saying earlier, I for some reason I think this is already all laid out. Like what? Like I don't know. Maybe let's put on the show to Iowa. Let's put on the show to New Hampshire, and then all right, guys, you know what you have to do. You need to come behind me, and let's all come together. Because that's what he was saying last night. He was thanking them. He was like, "Listen, you guys are doing a great job." I was like, "Really, Ron? We're going there with this done." And he did. He thanked everybody. And I was like, "Okay, this is cool. This is way cool. Now it's time. We need to come." Because what he was saying was, as a country, we need to start coming together.
We do.
It was a little different. It was a little different of a tone from him, and even in the Republican Party, because in the Republican Party, there's two parts to it,
At least two.
At least two, right?
At least.
And these sects that are in there. Enough is enough. We just need to come together,
it's
man.
It's like the cells in there.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's like.
Literally and figuratively.
There's a congresswoman here in New York. Her name is Stefanik, I believe her name is.
Stefanik.
Yeah.
And she made Stefanik. I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah. And she came out today and said it's time for everybody to step aside and everybody in the GOP to get behind Trump. It's ridiculous at this point. You don't have a shot, and it's time to just get behind him and push it.
Because a lot of people start not realizing is that, listen, you're hurting our country by acting like this. You're hurting our country. It's not like he's saying Trump is not saying anything different. All right, when he says let's make America great again, he believes it. He truly understands what we have to do to get on that path to get the country straight. All right, he's done it before. And he's proven it. So on paper, the guy was an absolute rock star. Mm-hmm. Did he make some mistakes with the whole stupid Twitter thing? Of course he did. Yeah. But that's Donald. Yeah. I mean, we grew up with him. Everybody in this room grew up with him, so we know what he's like. Mm-hmm. The rest of the world didn't know what he was like.
Right, that's true.
They know him from the stupid show that he had. Right, yeah. You're fired, But we knew. Nothing's changed about Donald Trump. This is the way he's been since day one. Mm-hmm. All right? So now the whole world's exposed to him. The guy's a power guy, bottom line. He doesn't believe in second place. He believes in winning all the time. And that now, if you think about that and you take that from his business, all right, don't get me wrong. If you remember back in the day, back in the 80s and the early 90s, he was fighting the Chinese on his own.
Yeah, he was.
Right, in the real estate market, where the Chinese were trying to buy up New York City and buy up all the airspace. Donald Trump said, no, you're not going to do that. He came in, and trust me, he had his defeats. He really did. But the guy doesn't.
He went bankrupt more than once. No?
More than once. Right. Yeah, he did more than once.
And guess what? Yeah. Guess what? Guess where he's at? He came back. He doesn't believe in losing.
He's got a golden toilet.
Place. That's it, bro. And he does. He truly does. But listen, a guy like that's in business, all right, with an attitude like that, and you take that to the White House. He's an American first, and he knows what it takes to build our country, to build our military, to be the number one superpower. And I don't care how it is. You can love peace and hug the trees and kiss everybody. That's phenomenal. But guess what? In this world today, you better hold your own. And when you got the other people breathing down your back, like all these second, third, and fourth places wanting to be number one, these crazy countries, we need somebody like him right away in the White House. So a lot of you people out there really need to start getting together and getting your head straight, because all he's asking to do is build our country, America first. First. If anybody out there can't understand that, I'm sorry, Sid. I'm sorry.
Well, that's like we said last week. We got like a minute left, Kevin. Look at the gas prices under him. Look at what what the stock market was doing. Look at what the interest rates on the houses are. Right. I mean, why was that bad for the people? I mean, we've been paying since that day that he went out.
The best thing is they were showing the pictures from then and now, the gas pumps. And I'm looking at you, just like you said, how is that bad?
I can't figure it unless they're saying he's doing some underhanded deal, and I can't imagine that they're not saying that. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
I saved money back then, but we're gonna take a break.
Yeah,
we're gonna take a break. We'll be back. We'll talk more smack in a couple of minutes. Bye.